Could the US conquer Russia on its own? A question many of you might have wondered. With the escalating tension and the relentless aid the US is providing to Ukraine, this question is not only provocative but also timely and relevant. As we look into this, we must examine the military prowess of both these world powers, their strengths, their weaknesses, and the bravado they bring to the table. So, let's dive into the military strengths and weaknesses of the US and Russia to find out. The US military, a global force with extensive reach and capabilities. When we talk about military might, the United States undeniably takes center stage. Its strengths are numerous and impressive, starting with its sheer size. With over 1.3 million active duty personnel and close to 800,000 in reserves, the US military is a formidable force by any standard. Then, there's the technology. The US boasts some of the most advanced military hardware in the world. From stealth fighters to unmanned drones, from nuclear submarines to aircraft carriers, the array is astounding. This state-of-the-art technology gives the US an edge, providing precision, agility, and a level of power that few can match. On top of this, the US military budget is a force in itself. With a staggering $736 billion allocated in 2024, it's the largest in the world. This financial muscle allows for continual investment in research and development, ensuring the US stays at the forefront of military technology. And let's not forget about the US military's global presence. With troops stationed in over 150 countries and territories, and a naval force that can reach virtually any corner of the globe, the US has a unique ability to project power far beyond its borders. This reach is complemented by an impressive network of alliances, extending its influence even further. The US is also a dominant force in the air and at sea. It has the world's largest air force, including strategic bombers and advanced fighter jets. Its naval power is similarly impressive, with the world's largest fleet of aircraft carriers, each a floating air base that can be deployed anywhere in the world. The US military's strengths are considerable, but what about its weaknesses? No military is without weaknesses, and the US is no exception. Indeed, even the most formidable of military forces have their Achilles heel. So, what are the vulnerabilities that the US military grapples with? One glaring weakness lies in the sheer size of the US military's global commitments. The United States, as a global superpower, has its military resources stretched thin across the globe. From the Middle East to the Korean Peninsula, from the South China Sea to Eastern Europe, the US military is involved in a multitude of operations and commitments. This vast global footprint, while a testament to America's power, is also a liability. It means that the US military is often operating far from home, in unfamiliar and sometimes hostile environments. Moreover, these commitments require a constant flow of resources, manpower, equipment, and money, which could otherwise be used to bolster the US military's capabilities at home. Another weakness is the cost of maintaining such a large military. The US spends more on its military than the next several nations combined. This massive expenditure, however, doesn't necessarily translate into superior military prowess. It's not just about how much you spend, but how efficiently you spend it. And even with its vast budget, the US military often struggles with issues of waste and inefficiency. Finally, let's talk about cyber warfare. This is an area where the US military, like many others, is vulnerable. The increasing reliance on digital systems and networks in modern warfare means that cyber attacks can pose a very real threat. From disrupting communications to sabotaging critical infrastructure, a successful cyber attack could severely hamper the US military's capabilities. Despite significant investments in cyber defense, this remains a potential weak spot. The US military, while powerful, has its vulnerabilities, but how does Russia's military stack up? As we delve into the strengths and weaknesses of Russia's military in the next segment, we'll see that the question of who would come out on top in a hypothetical conflict is far from straightforward. Russia, a formidable opponent with a storied military history. As we delve into the military power of Russia, we find a nation steeped in a rich history of military prowess and strategic brilliance. The Russian armed forces, a force to be reckoned with, is one of the largest in the world, boasting an impressive land force that accounts for the bulk of its military personnel. Now let's talk about firepower. Russia's nuclear arsenal is second to none. With thousands of nuclear warheads at its disposal, Russia has the power to cause unimaginable destruction. This nuclear capability, combined with its advanced missile defense systems, makes Russia a formidable adversary on the global stage. These missile defense systems, such as the S-400 Triumph, are some of the most advanced in the world. Capable of tracking and intercepting a wide range of targets, these systems provide Russia with a robust shield against potential threats. But it's not just about numbers and advanced weaponry. Geography plays a massive role in Russia's military strength. The sheer size of the country, its varied terrain and harsh climate can pose significant challenges to any invading force. It's been said that Russia's greatest general is General Winter, and history has shown that the brutal Russian winters can be as lethal as any weapon. In addition to its geographic advantage, Russia also has a home field advantage. Russian soldiers are trained and experienced in fighting in their own terrain and climate. They know the land, they understand the weather, and they are prepared to defend their homeland at all costs. Moreover, Russia has a strong tradition of military service. Its people are known for their resilience, their courage, and their willingness to sacrifice for their country. This nationalistic spirit, this deep-seated patriotism adds another layer to Russia's military strength. Russia's military strengths are significant, but they too have their weaknesses. But before we dive into that, let's take a moment to appreciate the immense power and strategic acumen of Russia's armed forces. It's a testament to their history, their people, and their relentless pursuit of national security and sovereignty. Even the mighty Russian military has its Achilles heel. While it may boast one of the world's largest ground forces and a formidable nuclear arsenal, there are several factors that could impede Russia's performance in a potential conflict. Firstly, let's consider their military equipment. Much of Russia's military hardware, while impressive, is aging. Despite modernization efforts, a significant portion of their arsenal comprises Soviet-era machines and weapons. Even their newest tanks and aircrafts are often built on outdated platforms, which may lack the cutting-edge technology, speed, and maneuverability of their Western counterparts. Economic constraints also pose a considerable challenge for Russia. The country's economy, heavily reliant on oil and gas exports, is vulnerable to fluctuations in global energy markets. This economic instability can limit Russia's military spending, potentially hindering their ability to modernize equipment, train personnel, and sustain a protracted conflict. Thirdly, we must consider Russia's dependence on conscription. While conscription can swell the ranks, it often leads to a reduction in overall troop quality. The Russian military has struggled with issues of discipline and morale among conscript soldiers, which could impact their effectiveness in battle. Lastly, Russia faces significant hurdles in projecting power beyond its immediate region. The country's geography, with vast distances and challenging terrains, presents logistical challenges for rapid troop deployment. Additionally, Russia's navy, while substantial, pales in comparison to the global reach of the US Navy, making overseas operations more challenging. These factors combined could potentially weaken Russia's military capabilities in a full-scale war. However, it is crucial to remember that Russia, like any other nation, would likely fight fiercely to defend its homeland, and its nuclear arsenal remains a formidable deterrent. So, with these strengths and weaknesses in mind, could the US really conquer Russia on its own? The US and Russia, two military giants with their own strengths and weaknesses. As we've delved into today, both these nations command formidable armed forces, each with its unique set of capabilities. The United States, with its advanced technology, unrivaled air power, and extensive global presence, stands as a force to be reckoned with. Yet, it's not invincible. Budget constraints, overextension, and the challenge of maintaining a volunteer force are real concerns that cannot be overlooked. On the other hand, Russia, despite its economic limitations, boasts a massive military inventory and a hardened battle-ready force. However, it too grapples with issues like outdated equipment, reliance on conscription, and a narrower scope of influence. But military strength is just one piece of the puzzle. In the modern world, warfare isn't just about tanks, jets, and soldiers, it's about alliances, economic power, cyber capabilities, and even the will of the populace. A nation's ability to wage war and achieve victory extends far beyond the battlefield. It's also important to remember that war, with its immense human and economic cost, is not something to be taken lightly or glorified. It's a last resort when diplomacy and other means have failed. In the end, the answer to our provocative question is more complex than a simple yes or no. It depends on a multitude of factors that go beyond military might alone.